We are 7 days removed from January, the first month of 2025. Thank God. Here's my ranking of all the movies. So before I get started, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss another video. All that would really mean a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers by the end of February. So if you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Really mean a lot. And go down in the comment section if you're here and tell me, what is your ranking of every January movie you have seen? And if there's a movie that I have not seen that's on this list that you think is good, tell me down below, and maybe I'll check it out eventually. And with that said, 7th place, my 7th movie of the year, and currently my least favorite movie of the year, Flight Risk. This is the new Mel Gibson movie. Yes, Mel Gibson, who did Hacksaw Ridge, Passion of the Christ, and Braveheart. Yeah, that's the Mel Gibson you guys are thinking about. He did this movie, and it's a B thriller. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it, Topher Grace in it, and it's about them in a plane. Mark Wahlberg's an assassin. They're trying to survive. It sounds like a movie made for me, right? I enjoy thrillers like this. I was kind of looking forward to this movie a little bit until the reviews came out, but I was overall looking forward to the film. I thought it looked decent enough, and to my surprise, it was not decent enough. It was generic at most, watchable at best, I'd say. The movie's watchable. It has enough of that so bad it's good quality, where Topher Grace, his performance is just so stale and feels like he's in a parody movie. Mark Wahlberg, obviously having him being crazy in the film, is entertaining when he's not talking about raping a guy, but, and yes, he does talk about raping a guy in the movie, but the script and everything that this movie has feels like it was written by AI. And I recently learned that the script for this movie was on the blacklist, which I also recently learned what it is. If you don't know what it is the thing that people put scripts on here that are the best scripts written last year. And this script was on it? What? I don't understand, because this 100% feels like AI. Like, characters like, we need to get off this plane, or in the beginning, Alaska sucks. I hate Alaska. So robotic. So stupid. The opening sequence is literally a CGI, not CGI, but AI animated hotel. Literally, the first shot of the movie is an AI shot. Why? I don't know. It's stupid. It's a very bad idea. The script is horrible. And genuinely, after leaving the movie, it's like, okay, that wasn't very good. And the more I think about it, like, that was terrible. Like, what were they thinking? With all the talent that this movie had, should have been something made for me, and to be this bad, to not work at all, almost, besides some of the so bad it's good quality, shocked at how bad this movie ended up being. Number 6, we got The Wolfman. This is Leigh Whannell's recent film, and it is, again, another very disappointing film where this should have been made for me. Unbelievably excited for the film. I mean, I love the concept of it, of there being this Wolfman. I love the Wolfman concept, so it was very cool here. Trailers didn't quite do it for me. I think Leigh Whannell has the sauce as a director, and he's a fantastic writer. Really hoping this was another banger of his, and it was not. It really wasn't. It doesn't have anything fun about it. First act sets up several cool concepts here, like the dad becoming this Wolfman and having to protect his family while becoming the Wolfman. Cool concept, right? Well, the rest of the movie doesn't do anything for it, because we follow our main character, the guy who's turning into the Wolfman, and he's just transforming the entire movie, and it's very slow, feels very draggy, and then when we enter the third act of the movie is literally just the entire time, oh, bad Wolfman goes after them. All of a sudden, good Wolfman is going after the family. Now, the family aspect did add a little bit something else to the film, I think, where the characters are way more likable than the characters in The Invisible Man were. That's something I thought really worked, and the characters I did like. But the overall story and pacing of the film is just kind of a drag. I really couldn't get into it. I really couldn't get into the pacing or anything. And I just overall felt bored by the movie. I tried to hold on to hope, saying like, yeah, it was okay leaving the theater. More I think about it, I realize that it's kind of a bad movie. Not really into it. Not really my thing. It is number 6 on this list. Number 5, Back in Action. This is a new Netflix movie. It stars 2 very big leads in Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. Jamie Foxx had an accident a couple years ago. This is his first movie back, and Cameron Diaz First movie in 10 years. And it's exactly what you think is a Netflix movie. I think it's a little bit better than the other movies on this list, but it's still a little bit worse than what the typical Netflix movie like this would be. Where a typical Netflix movie like this, I'd enjoy a little bit more. This one, I really did enjoy the family aspects when it's Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx, and the kids just doing their thing, living life as a family. Thought it could be funny at times. Again, I still like the two leads. The action sequences were entertaining enough, but that's what this movie is, and that's what most Netflix movies are, is a superficial and fun Netflix original. This one, I did feel was a little bit more generic. It had a little bit more of a generic story. We've seen 10 billion movies like this before, and I can name 10 billion movies that are probably better than this one. Probably not 10 billion, 5 billion, I'd say at that point, because this one's just middle of the road. It's typical Netflix movie that I enjoyed enough. I thought it was fine. And so it's nothing special. I'd recommend you watch several other movies like this one that aren't this one, but for a time on Netflix, it was fine. Number 4, Dog Man. Now, I grew up reading the Dog Man books. I was a perfect age when they started coming out. Read most of them, except like the more recent ones, because I just kind of outgrew it. So watching this movie was kind of a nostalgic kick. Like, I'd say the last 3 movies I'd go more negative on. Here's where I'd start going positive on it. I really did like Dog Man. Now, if I didn't grow up reading the books, I probably wouldn't have liked it. It's hyperactive, superficial kids fun to just parents that tell kids to sit down and keep you entertained for an hour and a half. Do something with the family if you have little kids to go to see this one. Me, I saw it with my mother, my 17-year-old brother, and me. So we weren't any little kids or anything. So we weren't necessarily the best audience for it, but I think it works for us because me and my brother both did grow up reading the books. And like I said, it was a very big nostalgic kick. A nostalgic kick that I really appreciated. I kept remembering all these characters. I was like, oh, I remember that guy. That guy's cool. Genuinely has plot lines from the books. For the Captain Underpants movie, genuinely felt like it didn't have plot lines from the books. This one definitely did. The animation was okay, but I did like the voice cast. Pete Davidson as Petey the Cat was really, really good in this film, and I thought he was hilarious. And the film had a surprising bit of emotion. I thought the film constantly was able to, like, kind of make you root for the characters and feel sad a little bit. I kind of felt sad at a couple parts of the movie, like, am I really holding back tears at this part in the movie? So for me, as someone who did read the books, I thought this movie worked. I like this movie. But I can tell if you're an adult, you might not like this movie as much. But your kids are sure going to enjoy it, and that's what the movie's for. For people who grew up reading the book and little kids. And it's successful at being that. Number 3, Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Now, this gave me an excuse to watch the first movie for the first time, which I wasn't sure how I'd react to it, because for me, the marketing and everything kind of made it look like a typical heist movie. I enjoy typical heist movies, but I didn't think it'd be anything special. The first movie was special, because it's able to have conflicting character arcs. Gerard Butler, obviously you're rooting for him, but he's a terrible person. Meanwhile, the people that are doing the wrong in this film, you kind of like them more. They're more likable characters than Gerard Butler was. So in that first film, I thought it was very, very good. I thought it avoided being a typical action movie. And this one I thought was a typical action movie. It was everything that the first movie avoided being, for worse. And I thought it was a good movie still. Still, I like movies like this. Thought it was a very typical but entertaining action film. But for something that is a sequel to Den of Thieves, which I think is a great action film, this one was a little bit disappointing. I liked the interactions between O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler. I thought they were very good in the film as well. The overall heist sequence in the back half of the film, I think, is great. I thought it was really, really good. And the 1 or 2 action sequences we got were good. Now, this was a film that wasn't chock full of action like that first movie had, and I think it worked for that, because we had to spend time with the characters. I like these characters, I like these actors, and so we had enough fun spending time with the characters, having a good time in an action heist film. Again, it's nothing like that first film, and the ending kind of left me with a little sour taste in my mouth, where it kind of had a good ending, a great ending, and then it kind of just erased all that just to make a sequel, which we are having Den of Thieves 3 come out, and I think we shouldn't, because I think there was a good ending at the end of this one that was just kind of stripped away to try to make more money in a third film. Not the best idea. very clearly to try to do that. But for the most part, I thought this film was a generic action film that I had enough fun with. Nothing that I could really complain about, except that it's not the first movie. Now my top two, both of these are great movies. I gave number 2 an A, and that number 2 is going to be Better Man. Now, I knew nothing about Robbie Williams going into this one. I didn't know I'd react to the movie because I haven't heard great things about The Greatest Showman. I do like musicals, but I didn't know how I would react to this one, and I thought this film was great. I thought it was a film so full of wonder, but also like a great story. Robbie Williams has a great story. At the beginning of the film, I didn't know why they made him a monkey. I thought it was really weird. By the end of the film, it was more prominent that they made him a monkey because he kind of acted like a crazy person. He's so full of drugs. He's a terrible person, but he's chasing fame, and you're following that whole story from the very beginning to when he finally does become a better man, so full of wonder. The director of this one, he did direct The Greatest Showman, so that was where the comparison came in. And I think the musical sequences, the dance numbers are all great in here, and it really got me starting to listen to Robbie Williams' music. I think all the musical numbers are really good in the film and fit perfectly in here. The CGI animated monkey is great. The cinematography is excellent. The cast is really good in here. It's just a film that tells a story that typically movies like this, maybe sometimes they won't work for me. This one I think really, really did work. Thought it was a wonderful film that I had a great time with. It's funny, has everything that I wanted from a film like this. The ending didn't necessarily work for me fully. I feel like if we started the redemption arc about 10 or 20 minutes earlier, I think that would have worked better for me because it kind of just feels like it comes out of nowhere. Still, can't complain much because this is a film that does everything right for a movie like this and got me invested in a person that I have never heard of in my life before. But my number 1 is going to be Companion, and this is going to be my favorite movie of 2025 for quite a while. I love this movie. I'm going to keep it very brief here because I still think you guys should go watch it. Literally, I just posted a spoiler review, so if you have seen the movie, go check out my spoiler review. But I love this movie. I really did. I went into this one as blind as I possibly could, and I think it works for that, where the script is masterful. Constantly, it's able to keep me on the edge of my seat, like, whoa, what a twist! Half an hour into the film, we don't know what it's about, and all of a sudden, it just twists it completely upside down. And I'm like, wow, wow. The script is masterful here. Constantly, different sequences, you're like, what's going on there? What's this thing? And then it makes you forget about that, and then it brings it up later in the film, 20 minutes later, and you're like, whoa, okay, that's how that came into play in the future of the film. And just the script constantly introduces all these plot lines, all these jokes, everything that you want out of the film, and it's able to just make so much sense. Not a single thing in this film felt unnecessary or didn't work. Everything in the film worked. And I thought it was great. The 2 performances are fantastic. Sophie Thatcher. I did say in my spoiler-free review that I haven't seen her in anything. I didn't realize she was in Heretic. That's how good and how dynamic of an actress she is. She's completely different in here than she was in Heretic. And she was fantastic in Heretic. Sophie Thatcher's amazing. And Jack Quaid obviously playing a bad guy. He's obviously really good. I love Jack Quaid. And so this was just a film, everything I wanted it to be. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And it just really, really worked for me. I think Companion was awesome, and that's why it was my favorite movie of January. Alright, thank you guys for clicking on this video. Subscribe and hit the like button and hit the bell so you never miss another video, and tell me down below in the comment section what is your guys' ranking of the January movies you've seen, and with that said, subscribe.